Hey guys, I got a car in here that I'm a little bit stumped on. I'm on the Yellow Bullet, and those guys are awesome over there. If you guys are not familiar with Yellow Bullet, it's probably the biggest drag racing performance website on the planet as far as I know. And the guys there are awesome, and they're really helpful when it comes to stuff like this. Like, usually I can figure stuff out on my own, but when I have a problem I go to the Bullet, and the guys are really helpful over there. So what I got here is CUDA, 72 CUDA with a monster 604 cubic inch, I think it's 604, big block, and it's got Brodix B1 heads. And we're having an issue with cooling. It idles cool. It works fine at idle. It'll stay cool with these big fans I just put in here. And it's got an electric water pump in it. But as soon as I take it down the highway, the thing gets hot. It runs up to 210 in about 15-20 minutes, and I got to shut it off and let it cool down. It's got a 160 thermostat in it, monster radiator. I got a customer coming in, and yeah, it won't stay cool. So. Buddy of mine, he's mostly a small block Dodge guy, and he says there's too much flow. It's flowing too fast, and it doesn't give it a chance to cool down. And I really disagree with that. I don't think that's the problem, because at idle it's fine. It cools right down, but as soon as you get on the highway, I don't think that pump can flow enough to keep this thing cool. Well, I don't know for sure if it's the pump, or if there's a restriction in the heads, if it has the wrong head gaskets in it, if there's restriction in the block. I really don't know. And I got the go-ahead from the customer to pull the heads off and have a look, but I'd really like to figure this thing out before I take the heads off, because I've already got, a bunch of hours in putting that fan shroud in, and took the nitrous system out because it was covering up the fuel line there and creating vapor lock in the fuel line. Moved the fuel pump to the back. It was mounted at the bottom there before, and it was getting hot. So because I thought the fuel pressure was going to zero or close to it, the car was still running, but the fuel pressure was way down, so I thought maybe the thing was leaning out, getting hot. So I got that sort of fixed. The fuel pressure doesn't go down to zero anymore, but I still got to do some work there to keep the heat away from the fuel line. Yeah, the timing was probably at around 32 degrees when it came in, and it would ping like crazy when I step on the gas. So the car was really not drivable other than just cruising. You couldn't use the power because it would just ping, so I backed the timing down. That didn't make any difference in the overheating. That just made it more drivable. I put a big alternator in there. It's a 120 amp alternator, because these fans need a lot of power to turn, to get them turning fast, and this factory 60 amp alternator just wouldn't keep them going. Yeah, I really don't know what else to try other than to put the mechanical pump back on and maybe get a smaller top pulley, or get an aftermarket high flow mechanical pump, something that'll spin a little faster at highway speed, because that thing is just one speed. But I'll start this thing up, and I'll show you guys how much air these fans actually flow and how hot it's getting at idle, and we'll go from there. Okay, I just started it up and the motor's cold. You see the fuel pressure. It's right around 7.5 pounds. Alternator's working good. Got over 14 volts at idle. Nothing wrong with that. I got it running now. Fans are going, and it's at about 170. It'll stay there. As long as it's idling, it'll stay there. Fans come
take it out on the highway, it just gets hot. The fans stay on constant and it gets hot. And it does have the flaps on the shroud there to let the air out on the highway. It's got one on the top and one on the bottom. Nice flow, a ton of air. Like, it'll push my hand away. And you can feel a lot of heat coming out of there. So they are working good. And I don't think that's a problem. Getting all that idle, those fans would stay on all the time. It looks like it's even come down a little bit. I'll turn this light off here. So let me know what you guys think. I got my temperature probe here. Thermostat housing. Water pump housing, 160. Upper rad hose. Lower rad hose. You can see the fuel pressure is dropped already. That fuel line is at 150 degrees. So we got to get that away from the heat. Top of the radiator.
fuel pump off. So in traffic, this car would be awesome. And it would never get hot. You could sit there and idle in traffic all day long. Which is okay if you just want to putt around in the city or in town or whatever, but I mean, to actually take the car out and drive it, it sucks because you can't drive the car. So